What must you do when the amber light is flashing at a pelican crossing? Stop and wait for the green light. Stop and wait for the red light. Give way to pedestrians waiting to cross. Give way to pedestrians already on the crossing. Pelican crossings are signal-controlled crossings operated by pedestrians. Push-button controls change the signals. Pelican crossings have no red and amber stage before green, instead, they have a flashing amber light. This means you must give way to pedestrians who are on the crossing, but if the crossing is clear you can continue. Why should you never wave people across at pedestrian crossings? They may not be ready to cross. They may not be looking. It's safer for you to carry on. Another vehicle may be coming. If people are waiting to use a pedestrian crossing, slow down and be prepared to stop. Don't wave them across the road, because another driver may not have seen them, may not have seen your signal, and may not be able to stop safely. Why is it dangerous to drive too close to the vehicle ahead? Your engine will overheat. Your mirrors will need adjusting. Your sat-nav will be confused. Your view of the road ahead will be restricted. Tailgating is the term used when a driver or rider follows the vehicle in front too closely. It's dangerous because it restricts your view of the road ahead and leaves no safety margin if the vehicle in front needs to slow down or stop suddenly. Tailgating is often the underlying cause of rear-end collisions or multiple pile-ups. What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? Your engine will overheat. Your brakes will overheat. Your view ahead will be reduced. Your fuel consumption will be increased. Staying back will increase your view of the road ahead. This will help you to see any hazards that might occur and give you more time to react. What's the minimum time gap you should leave when following a vehicle on a wet road? For seconds. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. 1 second. Water will reduce your tire's grip on the road. The safe separation gap of at least 2 seconds in dry conditions should be doubled, to at least 4 seconds, in wet weather. You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Hold your speed. Change direction. Speed up. Slow down. You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Which vehicle will use a blue flashing beacon? Motorway maintenance, snow plow, breakdown recovery, bomb disposal. Emergency vehicles use blue flashing lights. If you see or hear one, move out of its way as soon as it's safe and legal to do so. What should you do if you're being followed by an ambulance showing flashing blue lights? Pull over as soon as it's safe to do so. Accelerate hard to get away from it. Brake harshly and stop well out into the road. Maintain your speed and course. Pull over in a place where the ambulance can pass safely. Check that there are no bollards or obstructions in the road that will prevent it from passing. What type of emergency vehicle is fitted with a green flashing beacon? Fire engine. Road gritter. Doctor's car. Ambulance. A green flashing beacon on a vehicle means the driver or passenger is a doctor on an emergency call. Give way to them if it's safe to do so. Be aware that the vehicle may be traveling quickly or may stop in a hurry. Who should obey diamond-shaped traffic signs? Lorry drivers, tram drivers, bus drivers, taxi drivers. These signs apply only to tram drivers, but you should know their meaning so that you're aware of the priorities and are able to anticipate the actions of the driver. On a road where trams operate, which vehicles will be most at risk from the tram rails? Lorries, cycles, cars, buses. The narrow wheels of a bicycle can become stuck in the tram rails, causing the cyclist to stop suddenly, wobble or even lose balance altogether. The tram lines are also slippery, which could cause a cyclist to slide or fall off. When should you use your vehicle's horn? To allow you right of way. To greet other road users. To signal your annoyance. To alert others to your presence. You mustn't use your vehicle's horn between 11:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. in a built-up area or when you're stationary, unless a moving vehicle poses a danger. Its function is to alert other road users to your presence. You're in a one-way street and want to turn right. Where should you position your vehicle when there are two lanes? Just left of the center line. In the left-hand lane. In the right-hand lane. In either lane, depending on the traffic. When you're in a one-way street and want to turn right, you should take up a position in the right-hand lane. This will allow other road users, not wishing to turn, to pass on the left. Indicate your intention and take up the correct position in good time. You wish to turn right ahead. Why should you take up the correct position in good time? To help other road users know what you intend to do. To give a better view into the road that you're joining. To allow other drivers to pull out in front of you. To allow drivers to pass you on the right. If you wish to turn right into a side road, take up your position in good time. Move to the center of the road when it's safe to do so. This will allow vehicles to pass you on the left. Early planning will show other traffic what you intend to do. Which type of crossing allows cyclists to ride across while pedestrians are also crossing? Puffin, toucan, zebra, pelican. A toucan crossing is designed to allow pedestrians and cyclists to cross at the same time. Look out for cyclists approaching the crossing at speed. You're driving at the legal speed limit. What should you do if the vehicle behind approaches quickly, flashing its headlights? Maintain your speed to prevent the vehicle from overtaking. Touch the brakes sharply to show your brake lights. Accelerate to make a gap behind you. Allow the vehicle to overtake. Don't enforce the speed limit by blocking another vehicle's progress. This will only lead to the other driver becoming more frustrated. Allow the other vehicle to pass when you can do so safely. When should you flash your headlights at other road users? When telling them that you have right of way. When letting them know that you're there. When showing that you're about to turn. When showing that you're giving way. You should only flash your headlights to warn others of your presence. Don't use them to greet others, show impatience or give priority to other road users, because they could misunderstand your signal. You're approaching an unmarked crossroads. How should you deal with the junction? Slow down and look both ways. Slow down and keep to the right. Accelerate and look to the left. Accelerate and keep to the middle. Be cautious, especially when your view is restricted by hedges, bushes, walls, large vehicles, etc. In the summer months, these junctions can become more difficult to deal with, because growing foliage may further obscure your view. The conditions are good and dry. When should you use the 2-second rule? Before using the mirrors, signal, maneuver routine. When checking your gap from the vehicle in front. When traffic lights change to green. Before restarting the engine after it has stalled. In good conditions, the 2-second rule can be used to check the distance between your vehicle and the one in front. This technique works on roads carrying faster traffic. Choose a fixed object, such as a bridge, sign or tree. When the vehicle ahead passes this object, say to yourself, only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. If you reach the object before you finish saying this, you're too close. Which color follows the green signal at a puffing crossing? Steady red. Flashing amber. Flashing green. Steady amber. Puffin crossings have infrared sensors that detect when pedestrians are crossing and hold the red traffic signal until the crossing is clear. The use of a sensor means there's no flashing amber phase as there is with a pelican crossing. You're in a line of traffic. What action should you take if the driver behind is following very closely? Move over to a position just left of the center line of the road. Slow down, gradually increasing the gap between you and the vehicle in front. Ignore the driver behind and continue to travel within the speed limit. Signal left and wave the driver behind to come past. If the driver behind is following too closely, there's a danger they'll collide with the back of your vehicle if you stop suddenly. You can reduce this risk by slowing down and increasing the safety margin in front of you. This reduces the chance that you'll have to stop suddenly and allows you to spread your braking over a greater distance. This is an example of defensive driving. You're driving on a clear night. Which lights should you use if the national speed limit applies and there's a steady stream of oncoming traffic? Fog lights. Side lights. Dipped headlights. Full beam headlights. Use the full beam headlights only when you can be sure that you won't dazzle other road users. You're driving behind a large goods vehicle. What should you do if it signals left but steers to the right? Drive on, keeping to the left. Slow down and let the vehicle turn. Hold your speed and sound your horn. Overtake on the right of it. Large, long vehicles need extra room when making turns at junctions. They may move out to the right in order to make a left turn. Keep well back and don't attempt to pass them on their left. You're driving along this road. What should you do if the red car cuts in close in front of you? Flash your headlights several times. Accelerate to get closer to the red car. Give a long blast on the horn. Drop back to leave the correct separation distance. There are times when other drivers make incorrect or ill-judged decisions. Be tolerant and try not to retaliate or react aggressively. Always consider the safety of other road users, your passengers and yourself. You're waiting in a traffic queue at night. How can you avoid dazzling drivers behind you? Keep your foot on the foot brake. Use the parking brake and foot brake together. Balance the clutch with the accelerator. Use the parking brake and release the foot brake. In queuing traffic, your brake lights can dazzle drivers behind you. If you apply your parking brake, you can take your foot off the foot brake. This will turn off the brake lights so that they can't dazzle the driver behind you. You're driving in traffic at the speed limit for the road. What should you do if the driver behind is trying to overtake? Move closer to the car ahead, so the driver behind has no room to overtake. Accelerate to get away from the driver behind. Keep a steady course and allow the driver behind to overtake. Wave the driver behind to overtake when it's safe. Keep a steady course to give the driver behind an opportunity to overtake safely. If necessary, slow down. Reacting incorrectly to another driver's impatience can lead to danger. What does it mean if the signs at a bus lane show no times of operation? The lane is only in operation in daylight hours. The lane isn't in operation. The lane is in operation 24 hours a day. The lane is only in operation at peak times. Bus lane signs show the vehicles allowed to use the lane and its times of operation. Where no times are shown, the bus lane is in operation 24 hours a day. What should you do when a person herding sheep asks you to stop? Try to get past quickly. Continue on but drive slowly. Ignore them as they have no authority. Stop and switch off your engine. If someone in charge of animals asks you to stop, you should do so and switch off your engine. Animals are unpredictable and startle easily. They could turn and run into your path or into the path of another moving vehicle. What should you do when you're overtaking a horse and rider? Flash your headlights as a warning. Sound your horn as a warning. Go past slowly and carefully. Go past as quickly as possible. Horses can be startled by the sound of a car engine or the rush of air caused by a vehicle passing too closely. Keep well back and only pass when it's safe. Leave them plenty of room. You may have to use the other side of the road to go past safely. You're approaching a zebra crossing. What should you do if pedestrians are waiting to cross? Slow down and prepare to stop. Give way to older and infirm people only. Wave at them to cross the road. Use your headlights to indicate they can cross. As you approach a zebra crossing, look for pedestrians waiting to cross. Where you can see them, slow down and prepare to stop. Be especially careful of children and older people, who may have difficulty judging when it's safe to cross. What should you do if a vehicle pulls out in front of you at a junction? Slow down and be ready to stop. Swerve past it and sound your horn. Flash your headlights and drive up close behind. Accelerate past it immediately. Try to anticipate what other drivers might do. Look and plan ahead so that you're ready to respond safely if a hazard develops. Be tolerant of road users who make mistakes. You're approaching a red light at a puffing crossing. Pedestrians are on the crossing. When will the red light change? When you start to edge forward onto the crossing. When the pedestrians have cleared the crossing. When the pedestrians push the button on the far side of the crossing. When a driver from the opposite direction reaches the crossing. A sensor will automatically detect that the pedestrians have reached a safe position. Don't drive on until the green light shows and it's safe for you to do so. Which instrument panel warning light would show that headlights are on main beam? You should be aware of all the warning lights and visual aids on the vehicle you're driving. If you're driving a vehicle for the first time, when should you leave a 2-second gap between your vehicle and the one in front? When it's foggy. When it's icy. When it's raining. When it's dry. In good, dry conditions, a driver needs to keep a distance of at least 2 seconds from the car in front. This should allow enough space for you to stop if the driver in front has to stop suddenly. You're driving at night on an unlit road. What should you do if you're following another vehicle? Use dipped headlights. Flash your headlights. Use full beam headlights. Switch off your headlights. If you follow another vehicle with your headlights on full beam, they could dazzle the driver. Leave a safe distance and make sure that the light from your dipped beam falls short of the vehicle in front. What should you do if you're driving a slow-moving vehicle on a narrow winding road? Keep well out to stop vehicles overtaking dangerously. Pull in when you can, to let the vehicles behind overtake. Give a left signal when it's safe for vehicles to overtake you. Wave the vehicles behind to come past you if you think they can overtake quickly. If you're driving a slow-moving vehicle along a narrow road, try not to hold up faster traffic. If you see vehicles following behind, pull over in a safe place and let the traffic pass before continuing. Don't wave other traffic past, this could be dangerous if you or they haven't noticed a hazard ahead. You're driving a car that has a diesel engine. What can a loose filler cap on your fuel tank cause? It can increase the level of exhaust emissions. It can make the road slippery for other road users. It can improve your vehicle's fuel consumption. It can make the engine difficult to start. Diesel fuel can spill out if your filler cap isn't secured properly. This is most likely to occur on bends, junctions and roundabouts, where it will make the road slippery, especially if it's wet. At the end of a spell of dry weather, road surfaces may be especially slippery where diesel has been spilled but it hasn't been washed away by rain. What should you do to avoid fuel spillage? Check that your fuel gauge is working. Check that you've used a locking filler cap. Check that your tank is only 3/4 full. Check that your filler cap is securely fastened. When learning to drive, it's a good idea to practice filling your car with fuel. Ask your instructor if you can use a petrol station and fill the fuel tank yourself. You need to know where the filler cap is on the car you're driving, so you know which side of the pump to park at. Take care not to overfill the tank and make sure you secure the filler cap correctly, so that no fuel leaks onto the road while you're driving. What style of driving causes increased risk to everyone? Competitive. Defensive. Considerate. Responsible. Competitive driving increases the risks to everyone and is the opposite of responsible, considerate and defensive driving. Defensive driving is about questioning the actions of other road users and being prepared for the unexpected. Don't be taken by surprise.